Bro, it's on. I'll check. 2. Mary had a little lamb. Happy, happy? Happy days are here again. Mary had a little lamb. 1, 2, 3, 4. Pa, 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 pa. Paw Patrol on the double. 1, 2, 3, 2, 2. Sip, sip, sip. Mary, Mary, Mary. Pa, pa, pa. Me, 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 mama, mama, moo, 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 me, me. Happy days? Just going to try and mute myself without looking. Blah, blah, blah. Muting, muting. Back on, back on. Cheers, I'm muting. Oh, it's on. Just so you know, there will be a part later on where I have to make a fairly large adjustment. So you're going to get, I'll try to do it, but I'll do it from the neck so it's not too noisy. Good morning. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 2, 2. 1, 2. Mary had a little lamb. Thank you, mate.
Hey, hey, 2, 2.
I'd like to welcome Karen Geddes QPM to the stage very shortly. Next slide. No? Nobody likes their picture this year. I'd like to welcome Karen Geddes. She's a pioneering former police leader with over 30 years of experience driving cultural and organisational change. The first black female superintendent in the West Midlands Police. She has been a national voice on race, leadership and accountability. She founded the Thin Black Line. I love that. The Thin Black Line co-founded Women in the Shade and created SAFE, a programme empowering young people around identity and confidence. Now retired. Collagen? Genetics. Black of Eulay. Black of Eulay, got it. Now retired, Karen continues to champion inclusion and inspire change through her speaking and leadership work. Please welcome Karen Geddes to the stage.
I wish I was a little bit taller. Hello. Click the green?
The green.
Okay, right. So, I'm going to start my timer because I hate being late. For transparency, up until yesterday, I was due to come as a delegate, and somebody stalked me on social media and said, Karen, we need a speaker. So, this has been put together at short notice, so bear with me. If there are any spelling errors, I'm dyslexic, and I'm menopausal, so everything like that. Okay. Hashtag here we go. God, that picture. So this is what I'm going to cover today. A bit about me and why I'm here. Obviously, I've said because I was dragged up. And why the conversation still matters to me. And yes, I am retired. Well, I call it transitioned because I'm not retired. I'm still working. And I have 2 young children. You look good for 5. So what we've learned from Macpherson, I think I like the concept this is about Stephen. So if I had the chance, I would change that. And what we're going to do moving forward, the present, crossroads, and lead into the future. But before I do, I just wanted to take a moment just to acknowledge Stephen and the Lawrence family and the reason why we're here today. Because of them, they've kept the legacy going. And also want to acknowledge you guys in the room, because I know you weren't dragged here. I see he's been dragged off. But I know you weren't dragged here and you come here because you care. So my first acknowledgement is to the Lawrence family and to you as well. Lord of mercy, more pictures. How many people in the room have got the black and white picture? All right. So that is me, the wash belly picnic. You know what wash belly is? The Jamaicans will know. The last of the litter. My mama had 8 children, and there I am with my twin brother. And I didn't get no cute sound. I think, oh. Right, I'll put that on there because the Jamaicans are ruling the house today. I was born in Wolverhampton, but when I was little, we had our Will Smith moment, and my mom said, you're going back to Jamaica. So I went to Jamaica with my twin brother because my mom was having some issues with her marriage. And I put that on there because Jamaica, ironically, was the first place where my black identity was put on me. And I lived just outside Negril. Who hasn't been to Jamaica? Lord, I forgive you. But I lived outside Negril, which is one of the big resort world. And I'm not, I'll tell you, I'm 59 soon. That's my age. So this was back in the days when that happened. And I was in the village with my twin brother, and we were an anomaly. And this white couple, and I can still see them today, came driving up, and they said to us, got out the car to take their picture. So somewhere in this UK, I have a picture of me in somebody's house, probably an antique by now. And they said, look at the two little black children. Until that time, I was Chris, because in Jamaica culture, you have your nickname. And it was Gerald or G. Nobody had ever identified me as black before. And that was the first moment where my blackness was made evident to me. And I use a thin black line because when I joined policing, that was a conversation that continued, that thin black line. Turning the corner and looking for somebody else that looked like me. There I am when I joined, and I joined on January the 15th, 1992. Obviously, Stephen Lawrence came the year after. And with my nice little afro, and I remember joining, trying to put the hat on, and the hat would spring up. Hello. But yeah, and you turn the corner and you're looking for people that look like you. And policing was the first time I experienced racism. When I was in my uniform and going on the beat and being called racist names. When I was in the custody block as a sergeant and being racially abused. And it was a Friday night and all the staff was going like that, just stepping back. And I had to arrest the person who was racially abusing me. But also, I put the other photograph there because despite of that, I thrived. And I'm proud to have been able to serve my community and spend 30 years in a job. And I'm proud of every individual, except the one who wants to lock me up. Who put the uniform on, and despite, we go out there and we serve our community. So, why? Macpherson, I don't need to preach this to you in the room. It exposed institutional racism and cultural defensiveness, and that enabled me to survive. It emphasized recording, recognizing, and responding to racist incidents, even below the crime threshold. You've heard the conversation. And that ensured people like me were listened to. It was never about bureaucracy, it was about believing communities, and it enabled people like me to be seen. It told us our experience mattered, our pain mattered, and more importantly, we mattered. So what has changed? And I had all my nice little flashy animation on this, and you've taken them off, man. Hello? Yeah, so what has changed? And there's some questions there for me that I keep asking myself, having stepped outside policing. The emotional labor of black women in policing still remains. Ladies, black ladies in the room, do you still feel it? Yes. Hallelujah. Not that it's a good thing. Carrying the burden of representation, do you still feel it? Now, come on, they fed you. You can be a little bit more vocal than that. You feel it? Aye. Being labeled difficult for what's called, where others are called leaders. Stroppy, strong, passionate. Do you still feel it? Yes. Navigating cultures that weren't built for you in mind. Is that still being felt? And communities still feel unheard, unseen, unprotected in key moments. Our community members in the crowd, do you still feel that? Yep. Come on, my friend. I've forgiven you. So progress is not felt. It's not felt, it's not progress. Yeah? Because you don't feel my pain. And I'm not saying that everything has been painful. There's been some joyous moments, some nice foot chases I've had, some nice, I can't talk about them. But yeah, there's been some lovely moments in the job. It hasn't all been bad. But it shouldn't still be the same. And we've had the conversation around the non-crime incident and why we've moved on. And Mark has articulated that far more eloquently than I could ever do. So I'm not going to even go cover that. But what does it mean? And why was it there in the first place? And why did it matter? Sorry, bear with me a second. Yep. So there are the signs of why it was matter. It's about capturing early signs of hostility. It's about protecting communities before things escalate, honouring the Macpherson principle, and it was a tool for prevention. But this shift has sort of moved away from what communities fought for, and it's a retreat from listening to lived experience, and a message intended or not that bureaucracy matters more than protection. And a step backwards at a time when trust is so, so very fragile. Isn't that sad? So this is not a policy change for me, it's a cultural signal. And it's what is signaling, I do not matter. You do not matter. LGBTQ plus community, you don't matter. That's what's signaling to me. And that impact assessment that clearly hasn't been done around the impact on the institution, the capturing of early hostility, as I've already said, the protection, the honouring, and the prevention, the impact on our communities from withdrawing from what sort of message does that send to our community? I was listening to you and I'm thinking, I know who I'm going to vote for now in May. And reinforcing the belief that our experience are being minimalised. And for what? For a few video clicks. Those experiences are being minimalised for money and personal political gains. The recruitment and representation. Somebody asked me that I can't remember who I was talking to. I said menopausal. I was talking to somebody yesterday and they said, Karen, would you recommend people join the police? And I said, it's not for me to say don't join the job, because I think that would be rather arrogant. But I would say do your research and do your due diligence. Because I have enjoyed my job, I've enjoyed serving, and I call my ride a roller coaster. So I started up here with my hat, you remember? The hat fell off. The jacket got heavy, and I went up and a down and up and a down. And I wasn't sick, but I cried a lot. But I ended my journey, and I got off my roller coaster when I wanted to get off. And that's a career choice that I would not stop any from achieving, but I think the environment has to be right for us to be able to not only survive, but thrive. And there are people in the audience who I was talking to, I won't name names, who were saying, today, I am only surviving. Why? And then that wider indication of stagnation, you've got the wind down of the ISOB, acronyms, yeah. Only a minority of force accepting the term institutional racism, and then the race action plan. So when you stop recording what hurts people, you stop seeing the people you are hurting. It's as simple as that. I do not matter. So moving from learning into the past to the present. So we are moving away from 27 years of learning. That's what we're basically doing. That's what organisations tend to do. Policing tends to do that. You get a new leader, I'm going to come in and I'm going to look at things and I'm going to see what needs to change, and I'm looking at my next rank and stuff like that. And they're bringing change that doesn't then look at my historical contribution, and we should be proud around that. My historical contribution to the organisation, the community's contribution, has been washed aside for political change. Because the changes that you're seeing now are not moving us forward, they're intentionally moving us backwards to a place where people who are meant to be held to account feel more stable. The present moment, our leaders at a crossroads, and they've got to decide which side of the fence they're on. And I'm going to put it out there, I was disappointed, and I apologise if I heard this incorrectly, if he said, I didn't start getting engaged in D&I until I got into the Met. Why weren't you doing it back in Leeds? That's what I heard. I'm putting that out there. You don't wait to be promoted to get interested in the subject matter, because then it doesn't become an inbuilt behaviour. You're just doing it for a tick box process. So science, and I like positivity. I like, a little bit of oomph, what I'm saying, a little bit jig, jig, jig. So there's got to be some positivity out there. So communities, and it's about today, you could have been somewhere else. We continue to have those conversations. We refuse to let it die. The NBPA is still a strong voice that's representing us, even though there have been attempts to silence them. Some forces are showing courage and naming institutional racism. That's a positive. And also, young people. Are you young? Young people are feeling mobilized, organized, and demanding more. Progress is uneven, but uneven progress is still progress. So let's look on the positives as well. So the role of the NBPA and the power in this room, for me, is stop giving your energy to the person, the leaders who can't even bother to stay with you all day. Give your energy to yourself. Yeah? Look around the room and put your energy, I think Lee sort of talked about galvanizing, come together, put your energy towards you because you are worth it. L'Oreal, I don't use L'Oreal. Not good for locks. Focus on those willing to act. You know who those allies are, the genuine people. And for me, I haven't heard your story before, but I wholeheartedly, I just want to say thank you for what you do, because you care. Yeah? Focus on people who care about you, and don't put your energy into people who are just talking for tick box. The NBPA has a role to fill, and part of that could be making sure the legacy of the ISOB and other things that Lee spoke about continues, because it matters to us. Just because some political leader aren't interested in it, don't mean it doesn't matter to you. Take ownership. And you're not here to be grateful. You are the leaders. What are we? Leaders. Come on. We cannot wait for permission to lead. We lead because the work demanded. Your history. Yes? Yes. You know what I'm saying? Yes. We are current history. What are we going to leave as our legacy for the future? Am I doing good? I'm ahead of time. Is that good? Yes. Okay. So I want to start by saying again, just a big thank you to the Lawrence family and for the work that they do to make sure the conversation continues. Thank you to you in the room and who you are online. Hello, I forgot to acknowledge you. And I want to just leave that quote on there, and I'm going to read something from here. I'm dyslexic, so I've just written this down. For 27 years, we've been told the same things. Listen to the communities. Record what matters. Take early signs seriously. Strengthen oversight. These were not academical ideas. They were born from pain, from loss, from the Lawrence family's journey, Justice and other families that have been named. And yet today, I feel us stepping away from those lessons. Not loudly, well, loudly actually, publicly. In decisions that look administrative on the surface, but are cultural at their core. It's an attack on who we are. The move away from the non-crime hate incident, the wind down of the ISOB, the reluctance to name institutional racism, the race action plan losing momentum. I could list so many things. These are not isolated incidents. They form a pattern. And that pattern tells me something uncomfortable. I do not matter. So I'm worried about the next 27 years. My daughter, oh my gosh, she's 12, going on 30. My son is 16, 17 soon, obviously, maths. And I worry what the next 27 years will look like for them. Because if we dismantle the mechanism that protected our communities, that protected my Sienna, my Dylan, your 5 children, your community that you're looking after, if we dismantle that, it weakens the tools that build trust. If we step away from the principle that prevent harm, then the next 27 years will look dangerously like the past 27 years. This is a leadership moment, and I don't mean leadership from your crowns and stuff. I'm talking about you. It's a leadership moment for you. It's not a policy moment. A moment when we decide whether we honor the lessons of the past or drift back into them. The decisions being made today will shape next generation's trust in policing and wider, and will shape whether young black people, my Sienna, my Dylan, see policing as a place for them, a place that still sees them. So the question is the simple one. What future do you want to create? Hashtag done.
Bro, it's on. I'll check. 2. Mary had a little lamb. Happy, happy. Happy days are here again. Mary had a little lamb. 1, 2, 3, 4. Pa 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 pa. Paw Patrol on the double. 1, 2, 3, 2, 2. Sip, sip, sip. Mary, Mary, Mary. Pa pa pa. Me, 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 mama, mama, moo, 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 me, me. Happy days. Just going to try and mute myself without looking. Blah, blah, blah. Muting, muting. Back on, back on. Cheers, I'm muting. Oh, it's on. Just so you know, there will be a part later on where I have to make a fairly large adjustment. So you're going to get, I'll try to do it, but I'll do it from the neck so it's not too noisy. Good morning. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 2, 2. 1, 2. Mary had a little lamb. Thank you, mate.